Hello and welcome to another Italian tutorial. Today we are going to tackle the auxiliary verb can, il verbo potere. Now we've seen how verbs work in Italian, and if you don't know this then go and watch the introduction to verbs. Basically we've seen that verbs come in three different flavors: are type verbs, ere type verbs, and ire type verbs. And this depends on how their ending is. For instance, potere ends in ere, so we would say that potere is an ere type verb. However, it's very useful, but it's irregular. Therefore, it doesn't behave like the other ere type verbs. It has a different conjugation. This verb is not used in the same way as it's used in English. So we've seen that in English, the verb to want wants the infinitive form after it. So, I want to go. I want to go. You have your subject, the verb to want, and then the verb conjugated in the infinitive form. It's the same in Italian. Now, when we talk about the verb can, things are a little bit different. In Italian, you still have the same exact structure. Subject plus the verb can plus the verb in its infinitive form. But in English, you don't. In English, you have I can drive. You don't say I can to drive. This is what you say in Italian though. So in Italian, translating literally, what you do is you have your subject, you have the verb can conjugated in the right tense, in the right person, in this case in the present simple, and then you have the verb in its infinitive form. So I can drive in Italian would be, I would translate literally, I can to drive. Let's see how you would translate I can drive in Italian. Well, first of all, we need the subject pronoun I, io. Then we need the right conjugation of the verb potere. Posso. Posso, puoi, può, possiamo, potete, possono. So I can, io posso. Now, drive. Drive is guidare, the verb to drive, guidare. Therefore, we leave it in its infinitive form. It's an are type verb, but we don't have to conjugate it. All we do is we keep it in its infinitive form, and we have expressed the thought, I can drive, io posso guidare. Normally, in Italian, you wouldn't have your subject, because that's usually omitted, so it would be posso guidare. Posso guidare means I can drive. If we want to make it a question, we add a question mark, and then we change the intonation. Posso guidare? This means, can I drive? You could ask you could ask your dad, can I drive? This is a perfect example. Posso guidare? This is how you use the auxiliary verb can in Italian. So in Italian, it doesn't actually act as an auxiliary verb, but it's just an irregular verb that wants the infinitive form, and therefore we could say that it's constructed in the same way as the verb to want, volere, which we've already looked at. If you don't know that verb, go and watch the video on the verb volere, to want. We've had a look at one of the most important verbs in the whole entire language, and we've seen that it's quite easy to understand the construction. So we need a subject, we need the conjugation of the verb potere in the right tense, the right person, and then we have the verb that we need in its infinitive form that follows the verb can, potere. I can, you can, he can, she can, etc. Hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care and see you soon.